I'm Angie, and you're watching Dontaesboxingnation.
Hey, what are you talking about? People performing. Decent. Right there, bro. Hey, would he see him again or not? Huh?
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So that was Gervonta Tank Davis, who attended the Andy Ruiz versus King Kong Ortiz fight. And the undercard obviously had Isaac Cruz fighting against someone. I don't know exactly who he was fighting, but Gervonta was there. And interestingly enough, when they put the camera on Gervonta Tank Davis, the entire crowd showered Gervonta Tank Davis with boos. And Gervonta Tank Davis, he simply reacted to the boos by telling them to quiet down. Now, of course, it's extremely normal to see Mexicans boo black boxers, but wouldn't you think they would make an exception when you consider the fact that Gervonta Tank Davis is the biggest Canelo Alvarez fan, but yet they still boo him? Which proves these fans, they never cared if you were a Canelo Alvarez fan or not. They don't care if you agree with them. They don't care if you use every single talking point they use to defend Canelo. The only thing they see is race, which is exactly why I call them race fans. So for the group of black people you may see sometime on the internet going out of their way to cater to these races, trying their best to use the same talking points the races use to defend Canelo Alvarez, they still feel the same way about you because of your complexion, because of your race. The same thing happened to Devin Haney. Devin Haney had been praising Canelo like crazy, saying that he was pound for pound the best fighter, etc., etc., etc. All of a sudden, Devin Haney is sitting in the audience. They put the camera on him, and all of the Mexican fans completely booed him. And remember, guys, Devin Haney used to fight hard for Canelo Alvarez. Devin Haney was using all of the Mexican fans' talking points to defend Canelo, and they still booed him. They still showed him zero respect when they seen him on camera. And this is why I say, regardless if you love me or hate me, you're going to do one of those while you're listening to me speak the whole truth. You will never get me to conform. So Gervonta, he was asked right after the fight, after Isaac Cruz's win, he was asked, are you going to run it back with Isaac Cruz? And Gervonta simply said, if the money is right. Now listen, I've already told you guys this, and I'm going to tell you it again. The only way a Gervonta versus Isaac Cruz fight makes sense is if Isaac Cruz, he gets a big win. That's the only way it makes sense. Everyone knows you don't advance to the Super Bowl for losing in the playoffs. When you lose in the playoffs, you got to come back the next season, advance to the playoffs, and beat all of the best teams in the playoffs to advance to the Super Bowl. Now listen, we all know Isaac Cruz is a very good fighter, a very talented, dangerous fighter. In fact, I would pick him to beat a lot of the top lightweights. I would pick him to beat Vasil Lomachenko, just based off of how uncomfortable Lomachenko was when he lost to Orlando Salido and never avenged the defeat by taking the rematch. And it's because Lomachenko, he knew that that was going to be a difficult style for him to beat. He knew it was no guarantee he would be able to beat him in a rematch. So the point that I'm making is Isaac Cruz is a really, really good fighter, but he definitely has to earn the right to fight against Gervonta Tank Davis again. Something else Gervonta Tank Davis said that was really interesting and made a lot of sense. He said after watching Cruz's performance, Isaac Cruz needs to fight Rolly Romero. And I have been telling you guys for the longest, we need to see a battle of the biggest losers against each other. You know, like a tournament with George Kambosos, Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz, Teofimo Lopez. All of these guys should be fighting against each other. But for now, what Gervonta just said, it makes a lot of sense. Rolly Romero versus Isaac Cruz would be a great fight. These are the type of fights that make sense for Isaac Cruz. Now, there's actually another really good opponent for Isaac Cruz. In fact, this guy has been calling out Isaac Cruz for quite some time. And according to this fighter, he says Isaac Cruz has been offered this fight 3 to 4 times and turned the fight down. And that's against the oddly lookalike Michel Rivera. Rivera, who is now Gervonta Tank Davis's mandatory, has been calling out both Gervonta Tank Davis and Isaac Pitbull Cruz. We know Gervonta Tank Davis will most likely be fighting against Ryan Garcia next, so it completely makes sense for Isaac Cruz to fight against Michel Rivera. But Isaac Cruz, he's not interested. And what it's starting to look like is Isaac Cruz is just going to sit around on the waiting list. He's going to keep fighting against weak opposition while waiting and hoping to get a big payday when it comes to a rematch with Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, look, you can tell that Isaac Cruz, he was very satisfied. He was very content with his loss to Gervonta Tank Davis because once again, he looked at it as like a moral victory that he didn't get knocked out. I mean, just look at him in this picture I have on the screen right here. After he gets announced as the loser, he has a smile on his face. That is a clear indication that this man was just so happy. He was so elated that he didn't get stopped, which is the reason why Isaac Cruz is now talking and acting as if he actually beat Gervonta Tank Davis. Once again, when other undefeated prospects are calling him out, he's talking like, oh, they have to earn a right to fight me and their name is not big enough, etc., etc. He's making it seem as if he had just pulled off the biggest upset in boxing, and that's not the case. Isaac Cruz is a very good fighter, and it's not as if Isaac Cruz or there's a shortage of good fighters when it comes to the PBC roster. There are tons of good opponents that Isaac Cruz can fight, and I'm telling you guys right now, PBC has a reputation of matching fighters tough. I've heard a bunch of PBC fighters tell me how PBC matches them tough, or some fighters even say, you know, they try to match us too tough. They want to put us in here with this guy and that guy. Matter of fact, I remember an undefeated prospect at the time by the name of Titus Williams. He was 7-0, and he was scheduled to fight against Little B-Hop. And I remember him telling me, he was like, I don't understand, why are they matching us up so early? You know, he was basically saying this fight could have been down the line. You know, we could have built this fight up, etc., etc. But why are we fighting when we're both young, undefeated prospects, at least at this stage of our career? Why are we fighting against each other? This is what he said to me, and they end up fighting. So my point is, eventually, they are going to force Isaac Cruz to take on a tough challenge that's not going to be Gervonta Tank Davis. He's going to have to fight someone eventually. I mean, you got fighters like Frank Martin out there. You got Edwin Santos. Edwin Santos is the guy that just stopped Jose El Rayo Venezuela. So there's no reason for Isaac Cruz to be fighting against this guy he just fought on this undercard that I don't know. And then, of course, you have, as Gervonta Tank Davis said, the Rolly Romero fight. All of these fights make sense. Hopefully, Isaac Cruz is going to step up in competition instead of playing it safe and just waiting around for another possible Gervonta Tank Davis payday. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man ScalpCarolinas on Instagram.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado,
but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.